Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. How are yous, folks? Hope you're all keeping well out there in podcast land, no matter where you're listening to us now. Well, yeah, hope you're keeping rightly, because this is kind of the calm before the storm, isn't it? Yeah, you know full well, whenever you see the Piping Live preview episode drop, well, you know we're about to get into one of the craziest weeks in bagpiping and drumming. Yeah. Piping Live is just around the corner, World's Week, and all that entails. We've a lot to get into in this week's show. So we're going to do our best to kind of fly through as much as possible. If anything, over this past while, since I was last talking to you, there's been so much news drop. It's kind of, I don't know, disorientating, the whole thing. It's just crazy trying to keep up with it all. So we're going to do our best to get through as much as we can. Yeah. So before we even start with all of our news and updates and, of course, our amazing topic, talking all about Piping Live, let's get through our introductions then, shall we? If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, you are welcome. We are the show for the bagpiping folk, and we reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. And yeah, I know it's an old cliche at this point, but pretty much every other podcast out there does have a Patreon page, and so do we. So if you do want to help support your favourite wee piping podcast, well, you can do. There's a link in your show notes right now, no matter where you're listening to us. And yeah, go and have a click on it and check out all of the extras that you can get your hands on. If you do decide to click on support, be part of that Patreon faithful, well, you get episodes of Big Rab Show Plus, you get the postscript, you get our monthly behind-the-scenes documentary fly on the wall thing that we've been putting together. That's a lot of fun. Plus, you get our Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show available for download each and every week. Tons of exclusive interviews, performances. There's so much back there on Patreon. We have a great community over there, so just wanted to give you all a shout-out on Patreon. Shout-out to the faithful! Woo! So, yeah, do consider clicking on that button, because once you do, you will be immediately awesome.
The Patreon faithful are awesome. The Patreon faithful are awesome. The Patreon faithful are awesome. The Patreon faithful are awesome.
Yes, so do consider clicking on that button and getting your mitts on all of those extras. Yeah, huge shout out to our Patreon faithful who really do help support what we do here on the show. Thank you. Right, well, we have a lot of ground to cover, as I've mentioned, and a lot of our listener mail has all been on a theme, talking about Piping Live and the World Championships. As you can imagine, as we wrapped up everything last week from what happened in Dumbarton with the Scottish, we got a lot of commentary, all talking about predictions. Who have we got our eye on for the big one, for the Worlds? Now, as you may well know by this stage, those of you that have been following the Rab Show for a long time, well, you know that we do a podcast each and every year, giving you our own predictions. Our thoughts, feelings, grade by grade, band by band, drum major by drum major. Yeah, we go through it all in fine detail in a full episode of the podcast, giving you our World Championship predictions. And yes, you might have guessed, that'll be next week's episode. Episode 500 will be our World Championship prediction podcast, and a lot of your emails has been taken into consideration. There's been a lot of, band members, band supporters, and just a lot of people contacting the show, talking about the World Championships and just the general excitement, for everyone waiting to hit the grass in Glasgow. It's palpable, folks, is the word I want to use. Yeah. We also got a lot of commentary talking about the changes of leadership within certain bands. We did talk about that in last week's pod. I got a feeling we're going to cover some of that on this week's show because we did get some further announcements. That story has now since moved on, hasn't it? So we will get into that. But yes, to everyone who has emailed us in, thank you. Your email has been received. Unfortunately, given the time of year that it is, the volume of email has been intense, and we won't be able to give you all a shout out on this week's show. My apologies. But it has been received, and your commentary, thoughts, all of that stuff and listener mail, yeah, will help flavor our episode next week when we consider the World Championships. Yeah. So, if you do want to send us in your own listener mail, of course you can do. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. Now, we've also been answering questions for you folks out there who are planning on attending our live event at Pipe and Live, people trying to get tickets and such. So, yeah, we've been doing our best to share out those details to everyone who's emailed us. Answering questions, logistical kind of things as well. What time are we on? What time is this band playing, that band playing, etc. We've been doing our best to help everyone who has contacted us. So thank you, everyone. Your emails have been received and hopefully answered. Yeah. There you go. Right. So that's pretty much it for listener mail. Just a reminder of the address, bigrabshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Well, you guessed it, at this next juncture is possibly one of our favorite features at Weekly Drone. If you do want to send us in your own Weekly Drone, you can do so. You can go to our website, thebigrabshow.com, and that big button at the top of the page. Big red button. You can't miss it. It says Weekly Drone. Click on that and you can let us know your story, warts and all, without fear of recrimination. It's an open microphone to the bagpiping world. And, it's completely anonymous, which is the beautiful thing with it. Yeah. So, JD, we did play catch-up last week. We played a good number of Weekly Drones. Now, I'm going to have to limit it for this week. Again, we have a pretty full shelf here, but I'm going to narrow it down to 4 for this week because we have so much to get into. So, JD, lay the first one on us, mate. I think this one's called Friday Entry. What's this about?
The Weekly Drone.
World Pipe Band Championships Band Entry. I've heard rumblings that this year band members will be charged entry into Glasgow Green for Friday practice. Hopefully this isn't the case. It already costs band members a small fortune to attend the World Pipe Band Championships every year. Is there any truth to this? Without jumping the gun, there are no contests without the bands themselves, and if bands not competing on the Friday decide to practice elsewhere, Friday attendance will be lackluster to say the least. Not a good look for the association or representation of our beloved contest.
Some interesting thoughts there. Yeah, this isn't the first I've heard of this, about, the rumour that was going around saying that bands will have to pay in on the Friday. Those who are not competing on the Friday, but instead wanting to do like a Friday practice ahead of the big in the next day on the Saturday. It is my understanding, now this could absolutely be stuff that Rab got wrong. I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I think it's my understanding. If you are in uniform on the Friday, you will not be charged an entry fee. However, if you are wearing your civvies and you just happen to have a pipe case or a drum case with you, something like that, I think there is a discounted rate, but yes, you're quite right. Those people who turn up on the day wearing civilian clothes and are not going to be competing on the Friday will be expected to pay a cover charge to get in through the gate on the Friday because, essentially you could go there, practice for half an hour or whatever, and then spend the rest of the day enjoying the competition. Yeah, so I think that's the thoughts behind it. There has been some backwards and forwards on this from a number of listeners talking about this possible Friday cover charge at the Worlds and how it is controversial. I do agree, it is controversial. Obviously, a lot of bands will want to have that Friday practice to prepare for the upcoming day ahead on the Saturday. But saying that numbers will be low on the Friday as a result of this, I don't know if that's the case. The Friday at this year's Worlds has developed something rotten because now we have the Grade 2 qualifying event to consider. So not only will we have our Grade 1 big guns that we're well used to seeing on the Friday, but we're also going to have our Grade 2 guys there as well. Not forgetting all of our novice bands as well. Novice A, Novice B, and our juvenile grade will all be taking place that day. So Friday will actually, it'll be a lot busier than normal. Yes, we have seen some Fridays and it's just, you see the tumbleweeds blowing through Glasgow Green. The atmosphere is not great and it is just all the Grade 1 big guns. But I reckon this time round we'll see a considerable change for the Friday. There'll be a lot of action to take in with all of our novice, Grade 2, Grade 1. There'll be a lot to get into. So as for this cover charge affecting things, I don't know if it will have a huge drastic effect on things, but it's something that we're certainly keen to keep an eye on because, we are aware that bands will definitely want to have that Friday practice. So just how many band members are going to have to fork out at the gate? We'll have to wait and see on that one. It's an interesting one. But thank you, Weekly Droner. We'll keep a track on that one. And no doubt we'll chat about that in the World's Wrap-Up pod if it does happen. All right, this next one is called Core Change. I wonder what this is about, JD.
The weekly drone.
Itchy feet or just difficult to work with? Regarding the recent announcement that Les Galbraith will be joining Uddingston Pipe Band at the end of this season, by my count, marks his fourth band in 10 years, following stints at Johnstone, Glasgow Sky, and Livingston. It raises an interesting question about long-term stability and leadership dynamics within top-tier drum corps. At what point does the community move past viewing frequent moves as simple itchy feet and start questioning if underlying interpersonal or organizational friction is at play? A notable pattern in these transitions is that a core group of side drummers consistently moves alongside him. Does this tendency suggest a core that struggles or declines to fully integrate into a broader band culture, ultimately creating an unsustainable environment that forces another move? Many successful pipe bands maintain the same leading drummer for years, if not decades, navigating the inevitable highs and lows together. What is it about this particular leadership style or core dynamic that seems to prevent a commitment beyond 1 to 3 seasons? I'd be interested to hear your perspective, Rab, on how drum corps loyalty and frequent leadership turnover impact band stability overall.
Ooh, wow. A lot of points made there. Yeah, and an interesting question at the tail end. Now, we did talk about this on last week's pod, whenever we did announce that story that Les Galbraith was making that move to Uddingston. Well, yeah, we spoke about it at the time, that there could be 101 different reasons behind it, and none of us will actually really know, apart from the person themselves. As for your comments there on drum corps loyalty versus pipe band loyalty, yeah, we have spoke about this kind of thing happening a lot. It is quite commonplace in the piping world where, say, a leader of a drum corps was to decide, I am moving and I'm going somewhere else. Well, you would find that a lot of their core members would actually move with them. Now, this, again, could be because of interpersonal issues. There could be logistics, geographical, financial. There could be all of that comes into it. But I'm also going to throw another one in the mix here to say it's also musical. Yeah. Now, I've been in that situation myself where I have had to move to a different band a few times. And each time, whenever you're stepping under a new lead drummer, you have to learn a completely new style of drumming. Now, I know for pipers, this is difficult to understand because all piping essentially is the same. You know, you have different phrasing, I guess, but the dots on the page could cover that. You know, your pipe major can walk you through how they would like a strathspey to sound, for example, and you'll get it pretty quickly. But for drummers, it's incredibly different. There is so much nuance and creativity whenever it comes to our drumming world that making that transfer across to a whole new drum corps is very difficult. And having to learn a new style, new phrasing, just a different feel is very challenging. So I can understand when drummers follow their lead drummers wherever they go. So, for example, if a leader says, "Hi, right, I'm going to go and join X pipe band, and we're going to go and play there this season. Anyone want to come with?" And everyone up sticks and goes, "Yeah, let's go." And they're all away because they know that the music will be the same. It'll be similar as to what they've spent their last while playing. So they'll not have a huge learning curve. And, musical decisions come into fact here, I guess. So that's what I'm trying to put across. Maybe it's difficult for the pipers to understand, but now I've been in both worlds. I can absolutely see why drummers would do that. Now, unfortunately, that does then result in, well, a hired gun, doesn't it? We've seen examples of this for decades where drum corps, entire drum corps, can hop from band to band to band. And there has been stories out there that in some cases brown envelopes have been exchanged, and in fact drum corps do get paid for an entire season to bring a band out. Yeah, I remember specifically there were stories about this in the 90s in particular. There was maybe 3 or 4 well-known drum corps who had that reputation of being hired guns. And yeah, each end of each season, you were just wondering then, with the transfer season coming up, you were just wondering, well, that drum corps clearly has a loyalty to their leader. Where does their leader's loyalties lie? And it's not until the following season when you see them all standing in a different kilt and you go, oh, that's where they are. So I'm not saying that happens nowadays. I think it's very much a thing of the past, but it is something to be wary of whenever drummers do change in bands like this, especially for changes of leadership. Just to be mindful that, you know, the reasons for said move could be multiple. But musical is also another consideration. Now, am I suggesting that brown envelopes have exchanged hands in this circumstance? Absolutely not. But I don't know. It was a problem in the past where drum corps did get a reputation for it. And I doubt it in this case. I don't think that's what's happening here. But I think an opportunity arose and yeah, that's it. They just took it. That's what happens. So as for changes in leadership, yes, it absolutely does disrupt things. It does shake things up, and sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. So I guess we'll just continue to follow this with interest and see what new music gets brought to the circle next season. Yeah. But this season's not done yet. We've still got plenty of ground to cover. So yeah, we've got plenty more music to play. So I wish them all well for sure. Yeah. But that's my thoughts, Weekly Droner. That was an interesting one. All right, this next one is called Sound.
The Weekly Drone.
Sound systems. I'm sure the folk running associations and contests have attended many themselves. So please tell me why in 2026 we still can't get the speaker system right for announcements in the finale. The banger contest was fab. The venue, layout, and everything was so well organized. Maybe the weather has a part to play, but I digress. Then came the finale. Poorly executed, mainly because most of us couldn't hear anything. The march forward was a mess. We didn't even know it had been called for until it was too late. Then the prize giving and instructions for the street parade were hard to decipher unless you had superhuman hearing. I hope the worlds tackle this much better.
The Weekly Droner leaves it there. Yeah, the sound system at the Ulster Championships, yeah, it was the usual speakers van that we're kind of well used to now at Northern Ireland competitions. It works for some venues and others not so much. I think that was one of the biggest problems with the Ulsters, is that the venue was quite large. Ward Park is quite a big venue, and honestly, I agree with our droner there. I thought it was a fantastic event. Yeah, and with the layout of the arenas, the final tuning, all of that, I think I was more than happy with that. But yeah, the sound was a problem. And I did feel for Aaron towards the end of the day. He got the job of doing all the speeches and announcing the prizes at the end of the day. And people, even on the live stream, had commented saying, why is that guy shouting at us? I think Aaron realized that the sound equipment for the Ulsters wasn't up to scratch. So as a result, he was raising his voice as much as he could so everyone could hear. But he was limited with the technology he had available. The mic that he had just didn't seem to be throwing enough decibels into the park for everyone to hear. But that's not Aaron's fault, That's just how things were planned, and that was the system they used. Yeah, could they use better systems going forward? I guess so, yeah. But again, that costs money. So where's the finance going to come for that? So has sound systems in general been a problem this season? Yes. I think for quite a number of our major championships specifically, and even a lot of our minors here, the sound in general for announcements and things like that has been a challenge. There's been a number of majors that we have live streamed the results from, and people simply couldn't hear them. Yeah, I think we remember talking about that in our previous episode, how the sound system was an issue. Now, do we think the World Championships will improve this? Absolutely. We know that the system that they bring in for the World Championships is world class. It's kind of exactly the same sound system that you would get at a music festival. Like, it's huge. And if you can't hear the results being read out at the Worlds, there's something wrong. Because it's absolutely booming. The whole park is filled with Colin's voice. So, yeah. I have no doubt that the World Championships will absolutely bring it this year with regards to the sound system. But yeah, is this a consideration for future contests? The sound is important. You do need to hear these announcements, like arrangements for the parades and stuff. The speeches, of course, from the bigwigs are always nice to hear. But of course, the results, the important moment of being, crowned champion potentially, you want it to be heard in the park. So, yeah, I think it's an issue. It could be something that could be looked at for future contests. Yeah, there we go. So I agree with you there, Droner. All right, JD, time for one more. This one, though, is called Transport.
It's the weekly drone. Lack of transport. I feel compelled to raise a serious issue with the organization of the Ulster Pipe Band Championships that I hope you'll highlight on the show. The standard of the bands was excellent, but the parking and transport arrangements were an absolute shambles. After a long day at the event, we made our way to the shuttle bus pickup point, only to stand there waiting for over 45 minutes. Bus after bus failed to appear, and in the end, we had no choice but to pay for a taxi back to our designated car park. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was completely unacceptable. Many people had long journeys home ahead of them, were tired after spending the entire day at the championships, and were left wondering if a shuttle bus was ever going to arrive. There was no communication, no updates, and no sign that anyone was managing the situation. For an event of this size, basic transport planning should not be an afterthought. If shuttle buses are advertised, they need to run reliably. Leaving competitors, supporters, families, and elderly spectators stranded for the best part of an hour is simply not good enough. The championships deserve better, and so do the people who spend their time and money supporting them. Hopefully this is taken seriously and lessons are learned before next year's event, because the transport arrangements seriously tarnished what should have been a great day. Sincerely, a frustrated player.
Ouch. Weekly Droner, not happy with the transport arrangements there at the Ulsters. Whew, yikes. I'll let the music play out with this one. Yeah, transport. And now we mentioned this on last week's pod, and even we were talking about it on Fuse FM as well, talking about shuttle buses. And as soon as you hear that term, shuttle bus, everyone just immediately thinks fail. Yeah, parking and all of that this past season has been an issue pretty much at every contest. Now, not just the minors or competitions here in Northern Ireland, but also for competitions across the water in Scotland, in the UK in general, and I've been hearing murmurings as well about issues across in Canada and the United States. Parking is not just a unique problem to here in the UK, but it's a global one. And yeah, sometimes event organizers can get very lost in the weeds of the actual layout of the venue. Where's the best place to put our vendors, our portaloos, the beer tent? Where's final tuning? Where's our drum majors going to go? Where's each arena, etc., etc. And for some reason, car parking is low down on the priority list. How are your competitors actually going to access and egress the venue? Now, yeah, I think this could have been a collection of errors. Bangor City itself was absolutely heaving on the weekend of the Ulster Championships because, well, there was another event happening in the city. There was a music festival going on, and the city was absolutely rammed. And as a result, there was extremely limited parking within the close proximity of the park itself. So, yeah, I think the only solution they could come up with was to park people outside the city and then shuttle bus. I know. So I did see a good number of people standing at that shuttle bus stop waiting on their shuttle. Now, whether that shuttle got caught up in traffic or all of that, but just seeing the sheer volume of people wanting all to travel at the one time, I think that was the problem. They had one bus, I think that's what I've seen was one bus. There might have been two, but getting held up and all of that festival traffic throughout the city could have been a problem, and that's what held it up. But yeah, I have heard stories of people booking taxis and stuff, just giving up on the shuttle bus altogether, saying, stuff this, we're getting a taxi. We've waited here long enough. So yeah, Weekly Droner, I'm with you. I think parking, transport, all of that has been a problem all season. And we're not done yet, by the way. We have other contests to get to. We have Lurgan, of course. We have Newcastle here locally in Northern Ireland. But then, of course, the big one. We've been talking about it. And a few other minors along the road, too. So we're hoping that the parking problem could hopefully be a consideration going forward for future events. But as for 2026, I think it's just the tail of the tape for this year. Yeah. So I believe there is a feedback form, though, for the Ulster Championships. They are seeking your feedback on the event. That is available through the RSPBA NI on their socials. They've been sharing that out. So if you have any thoughts and feelings and stuff, do let the organisers know themselves. Yes, it's always great to get in touch with us here in the pod, and we'll bring your voice to the show, absolutely. But do let them know, the people who organise the thing. Say, hey, this was all great. This is the one thing I believe could be improved. And then, hey, you never know. It could affect things for next season. We'll have to wait and see. There you are. But hopefully, no more shuttle buses. Anyway, so folks, that's it for our introductions. I'm going to draw a line under things there with Weekly Drawn. If you do want to send in your own, you can do, of course. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com, and that big button at the top of the page that says Weekly Drawn. Let us know your stories, thoughts, opinions, all of it, and we'll bring it to a future episode of the show. There you are. All right, I think at this point, I'll take myself a wee break, and I'll be right back with all of these news and updates. Ever wish you had a piping teacher on call 24/7? Well, now you do. Introducing the Interactive Player, a game-changing new practice tool at Dojo University. Play along with world champion pipers while the notes on your sheet music light up in time. Loop tricky phrases, slow down tough sections, zoom in to focus, and build speed automatically. It's like having a teacher right in your practice room, showing you how to master every tune at your own pace. So, sign up for a free trial today at pipersdojo.com and start learning smarter with Dojo U's Interactive Player. Alrighty, time to get into the news and updates. Now, folks, I am going to whistle through this as quickly as possible. There is so much happening in the piping world right now that, honestly, it's dizzying. My advice that if you do want to keep up onto all the latest information that what's been going on in the scene, well, do head along to the Big Rab Show over there on Facebook. And our socials, of course, as well, Twitter and other outlets. We've been doing our best to share out every news story as it drops. Yeah, so we are keeping across all of the social media and, doing our best to update you on every news story possible. So please do. If you do want to get every news story in detail, that's where it's at. The Big Rab Show on Facebook. That's possibly the majority of all of our news outlet stuff. So go and check it out over there. But I'm going to briefly run through as many news stories as possible. Now, if there is anything that I have glaringly missed, well then please do email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com and tell me just how angry you are that we missed it. Yeah. Right. We were talking about the Les Gilbraith situation with him moving to Uddingston, and we did mention also last week that Craig Laurie was stepping down from Uddingston, but we didn't know where he was going. Well, now we do. Yes, just last week, August 1st, we got an announcement from Johnstone. Yeah, Johnstone Pipe Band are delighted to announce the appointment of Craig Laurie as their new lead tipper at the conclusion of the 2026 season. So now we know where he's going. Yeah. Now, we know how successful Craig has been there at Uddingston. And, we honestly believe that it's an end of an era at the Uddingston camp. But this is such an exciting move, joining Johnstone. And, from all of us here in the Rab Show team, we do want to wish Craig and the folks there at Johnstone the very best for 2027. I am going to be here for it. Now, of course, Johnstone, they want to, thank their already existing lead drummer in Fraser Nicholson. Of course, he's done fantastic work there at Johnstone. But, hey, he's now standing aside, and Craig's going to be stepping into that role. I'm so excited for this. So, I have to say, Johnstone, this is an exciting announcement. Did not expect it, to be honest. It came as a bit of a surprise. But Craig, we wish you the best, mate. And to everyone there in the Johnstone, just best of luck. We cannot wait to hear what music gets produced in the circle next season from you. That's going to be exciting right there. Now, the band are currently actively looking for pipers and drummers who do want to fill out the ranks for the 2027 season. And it's going to be an exciting year for Johnstone fans. So do consider it. If you do want to, you can contact them on their socials. And best of luck to everyone there. But also I have to say to Livingston, Caledonia and to Uddingston, the work's not done. We do have the World Championships to tackle, and both Craig and Liz both are going to have their work cut out this season, I guess, at the World. So good luck, folks. As much as we're talking about you moving on to pastures new, your existing bands still have a job to do at the big game. So we wish you as well. But this is exciting, isn't it? Johnstone, brilliant stuff. All right, I think it's time to get into some results. Now, there's been lots of competitive bagpiping and drumming from this past weekend. I'm going to have to, just fly through this. I have to give a shout out, first of all, to, Bagad Cap Caval. Yes, they have lifted now I'm going to absolutely butcher this because my French is terrible. L'édition 2026 du Champion National du Bagadou. Yeah, no laughing, please. Cap Caval has been crowned national champion of the Bagadou for the third consecutive year. Yes, a big competition took place there, of course, in Lorient, and at the Festival Interceltique de Lorient. I don't know, is my French getting better or worse? I can't tell. But we have been enjoying performances from this. Some of the bands performing here, there's been some proper good performances. Obviously, Cap Caval were a highlight. Obviously, they've lifted the thing on the day. But also shout out to Bagad Kemper as well. Also played a blistering tune. There was so many highlights. If anything, we've done our best to share out as many as we've noticed. All of those performances from that contest are actually available online on their YouTube channel from the festival. You can go and have a watch at it. In fact, I've lost many hours just sitting watching the entire thing from start to end. So if you are curious, you can go to France 3. I think that's what they call the YouTube channel. But just type it into the search engine, Festival Interceltique de Lorient, and check out all the Bagad action that was taking place in Lorient this past weekend. So much great piping and so much brilliant Bagad music as well. I don't know, it's like some of the dancing, some of the percussion that was being used. One of the bands, I can't remember who it was now, they were using like big oil drums and were smacking them with hammers. It was just amazing, amazing music. Congratulations to Cap Caval. champions again for a third consecutive year. Congratulations. Well deserved. So yeah, that performance is, I have to give a shout out to the bass drummer, by the way. And they had rows of like 6 bass drums in total, 2 rows of 3, and they were playing them as if, yeah, with each key change and everything. Oh, just fascinating stuff. I had such good fun watching the whole thing. So yeah, congratulations, Cap Caval. Yeah, champion for a third year. Well done. Of course, there's many of our pipe bands that we're used to seeing here in the UK who are performing in Lorient. I have to give a shout out to Down Academy and a bunch of other bands as well, and our drum majors who all appeared at the festival. There's too many to mention. There's quite a list of you here. But yeah, shout out to all of you piper and drummers who were involved in the Lorient Music Festival. The performances themselves, the parade and everything, especially the stadium show. The stadium show looked absolutely stunning. And yeah, shout out to all of you guys who were involved in that. Particularly Down Academy, they put up a video of them in action at it, and they just look to be having the best crack. Yeah, so shout out to you guys. But yeah, fair play to everyone who was in Lorient. We're all incredibly jealous. It seemed to be an amazing festival, and which is still going, by the way. Yeah, so tons of great action coming from Lorient. Speaking of the Lorient Festival, of course, everyone who looks towards it from a solo piping perspective is going to be talking about the McCrimmon Trophy. Yeah, now this took place over the 2nd and 3rd of August, and yeah, we now know at this point that the overall champion of the McCrimmon Trophy for 2026 was Stuart Little. Yes. Now, this was absolutely insane, the standard of this. Now, Stuart Little is no stranger to the McCrimmon Trophy. He's actually won this before. I believe this is Stuart's 4th win of the McCrimmon Trophy. Now, that could be stuff that Rab got wrong, but I believe that's the case. Now, looking at the results here, he won the Scottish and Irish sections. However, he tied for first with the Brittany and the Breton music section. But that was enough to pull him through into that top spot. So well done, Stuart Little, the overall champion of the McCrimmon Trophy there at the Lorient Music Festival. So in second place was Nick Hudson from Houston. Well done, Nick. We'll give you a shout there. And in third place was James Stone, of course, from Ireland. Of course, Piper with St. Lawrence too. Well done, James. Yeah. And so Stuart lifted the Pibroch competition as well, as I mentioned. So I don't know, folks. The McCrimmon, it's been very difficult getting actual footage from that compared to the band stuff that has been happening there in Lorient. But yeah, the McCrimmon Trophy just seems to be another level and drawing competitors in from around the globe. I have to say that too. They're from all over. So yeah, very prestigious win, and congratulations to Stuart Little MBE lifting that 4th McCrimmon Trophy. Congratulations. All right, I want to get away from the Lorient Music Festival. We could talk about that forever and a day. I do want to bring things a little closer to home here in Northern Ireland, and of course, the Ulster Championships. Now, we've already spoke about that and how some people were happy and some not so much. But let's talk about the results, shall we? Now, in my opinion, the standards at the Ulster Championships this year were off the charts. It was insane how good the bands were. Now, I know this because, well, number one, I was competing in the circle, so I know how good the standard is. But also, I was standing there filming for pretty much the majority of the day after I put my pipes back in the case again. Yeah. Now, all of our coverage from the Ulster Championships is now up there on our YouTube channel, and I'm very happy, actually. We've managed to get bands in grade 4B all the way up. Now, obviously, I wasn't able to film myself, or I wasn't able to film the bands that were on before I was on the circle. But when I managed to make it from the gazebo over to the arena and switch my camera on, I managed to catch like the last 2 or 3 bands of grade 4B, and I'm very happy about that. So you can go and catch all of that action on our YouTube channel. Just have a search for it. We have a full playlist of all the bands, all the drum majors, everything that we managed to point a camera at. The Ulster Championships were just fantastic. So go and check out all that coverage. But let's get into our winners then, shall we? Starting with our novice drum majors, and winner on the day on Ulster Champion for 2026, Charlotte Adamson. Go on, Charlotte from the Major Sinclair. Yes. In second place was Molly McMahon. Yes. Third was Heidi Putz. Fourth was Molly George. And in fifth place was Hannah Park. That's your top 5 there for the novice grade. Well done. Moving on to our juniors then, and Ulster champion for 2026, Molly Bell. There you go, Molly. Yes, from Moneygore. Congratulations. In second place was Rosie McKinstry. Third was Harry Couples. Fourth was Hannah Campbell. Fifth was Bobby Campbell. Yes, now he was fifth on M&D preference. Oh, that's that M&D preference sneaking in again. Well done, Bobby. That was your top 5 there for your juniors. All right, moving on to our juvenile grade then, and Ulster champion for 2026, Georgia Turkington. Go on, Georgia. Yes, from the Matt Boyd Memorial, Ulster champion. Fantastic. In second place was Lydia Todd from McNeilstown. Well done, Lydia. In third place was Sadie Jackson from Moneygore. Now, Sadie was in third place on M&D preference. She actually tied with our fourth place finisher then, Grace Surfless from Clough-Finn. Yeah. In fifth place was Debbie Gilmer. And that was your juvenile grade. Well done. All right, moving on to our adults then. Yeah. On top spot, an Ulster champion for 2026, Charlotte Ruddock. Go on, Charlotte. Yes, Charlotte Ruddock from Battle Hill, of course, lifting that top spot at the Ulsters. Well done, Charlotte. In second place was Catherine McKeown from Battle Hill. Well done, Catherine. In third place, an M&D preference. That's that M&D again. Third place was Louise Smyton from Closkelt. Go on, Louise, yes. In fourth place was Cara Gilmer from Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band. There you go. And in fifth place was Jamie Lee Wilson from Brady Ulster Scots. Yeah. So that was your adults. Folks, again, M&D preference seems to be the decider in so many different placings. That tells you how close standards are in our drum majoring world. It's crazy. So, yeah, where are we going to become the world's is anyone's guess. I don't know quite how we're going to try and predict our drum majoring world for our World Championship pod this year. We've no idea. But, hey, to all of our Ulster champions, congratulations. Well deserved. And, yeah, looking forward to seeing you out in the grass at the Worlds, the big game. But we've another one to get to before we get there. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Lurgan. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a minute or two. Let's go into the Wild West then in Grade 4B. Yes, the Wild West. And who was our Ulster champions for 2026? Brady Ulster Scots. Go on, Brady. Yeah, Brady done so actually quite convincingly, I have to say. 2 firsts in piping, a first in ensemble. A very strong weekend for the folks there, Brady. Yeah, congratulations, Ulster champions for 2026. Yeah. In second place was the Lagan. Go on, Tullylagan. Yoo-hoo. Yeah, we managed to finish in the runner-up spot there. Go on, the Lagan. And yeah, Tullylagan also lifted the Ulster Championship drumming title as well. Not too shabby. Yeah, also lifted Best Bass Section and M&D. So a busy weekend for the Tullylagan folks. So congratulations everyone there at Tullylagan in that second runner-up spot. In third place was the Major Sinclair Memorial. Yes, well done, Major Sinclair. In fourth place was Hollymount. Great result there. Good man. Good stuff. In fifth place was Joseph Ford Memorial. And that was your top 5. Yeah. So Grade 4B, I don't know. It's so much fun playing in the Wild West, honestly, because there's so many good bands in there. And all 10 bands that stepped into the circle that weekend all deserve a pat on the back. A fantastic weekend's work. Yeah. There you go. I have to give a shout out actually in particular to Dromara and District. I believe this was their first turn in the circle this year. So yeah, shout out to Dromara and District. Good, great to see you there. Absolutely. So there you go. Congratulations to Brady Ulster Scots, our Ulster champions for 2026. There you are. So moving on then to Grade 4A and Ulster champions for 2026, Moneygore. Go on, the Moneygore. Now, to say that Moneygore lifted this convincingly would be an understatement, with ones right across the board. 2 firsts in piping, drumming, ensemble. They lifted the lot. Well done to Moneygore. A convincing win there. In second place was Grantia Pipe Band. Yes. And again, just nipping on the heels with 2s right across the board. Very strong performance there for Grantia. In third place was Ballybreast. Oh, Team Breast. Great to see you there. Brilliant. In fourth place was Altnavay Memorial. Yes. And in fifth place was Marlacoo. There you are. That's your top 5 for Grade 4A. Now, Moneygore lifted the piping and drumming. However, the bass section on the day went to Altnavay. There you are. M&D went to the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band. Excellent. So there you go. Congratulations to Moneygore, Ulster champions for 2026. Deserved win there. Absolutely. Moving on to Grade 3B then. And, we do have, a breakdown for 3B. Yeah, we have MSR, medley. Not going to get into that. I'm just going to give you our overall scores on the day. And winners on the day and Ulster champions for 2026. Drumlock. Go on, the Drumlock. Go on, you legends. Yeah, I managed to film your performance in Arena 1, and Adrian caught the performance in Arena 2 in his camera, and both of them were fantastic. They were so good. So, yeah, well done to Drumlock. Such a great performance. If anything, in 3B, they lifted the pipes and the drumming as well as the M&D as well. They're always getting this M&D prize, so they must look very smart. There you go. Congratulations to Drumlock. A great weekend's work there, and Ulster champions. In second place was Upper Cross Gar. Yes, in third place, Ballybully. Fourth was the Cleland Memorial. And in fifth place was New Ross and District. Yeah, now that was your overall results. I'm not giving you the breakdown between MSR and medley. You can go and have a look at that yourself. It is published online. But yeah, congratulations to the overall champions, Drumlock. Congratulations. All right, let's move on then. Grade 3A, again, a similar situation. I'm not going to give you the breakdown between medley and MSR. You can go and read that at your leisure. Let's get into things. Our overall champions in Grade 3A and Ulster champions for 2026, McNeilstown. Go on, McNeilstown. Yeah, a convincing win, I dare say. Yes, well done. In second place was the Matt Boyd Memorial. Well done. Third place was Clough-Finn. And in fourth place was the Major Sinclair Memorial. In fifth place in 3A was Kildog. Yeah. Now, winners of the drum corps on the day and bass section was the Major Sinclair. Well done. However, the piping result was kind of split. There was a draw between Clough-Finn and McNeilstown. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but I have to say, congratulations to McNeilstown. Overall, Ulster champions on the day in Grade 3A. Deservedly so. It was fantastic. Yeah. All right, let's get into Grade 2. Again, similarly, both bands had to play twice with an MSR and a medley set. And our overall champions, and Ulster champions, I should say, for 2026, Manor Cunningham. Yes, well done, the Manor. Yeah, lifting that top spot overall. And second place was Tullylagan. Yes, well done, the Lagan. Now, best pipes on the day went to Manor Cunningham, who also lifted the best bass section. However, the Ulster Drum Corps champions were Tullylagan. Yeah, they also lifted the M&D as well. So that was your Grade 2. Now, we did have a Grade 1 of sorts, I guess. Ravara were there for a bit of a showcase. They weren't competing against anyone necessarily. So winners on the day and Ulster champions were Ravara. Let me give you a short yay there. There you go. So, yeah, disappointing that we didn't have any other band in that circle competing for the Ulsters. It is quite a prestigious contest here in Northern Ireland. It's one that bands always want to win. But, hey, congratulations to Ravara, who played a really good tune, by the way, especially their MSR. Yeah, if you haven't heard their MSR run, go and check it out. But their medley was good too. Just a real good weekend for Ravara fans. Yeah, and shout out to you guys, Ulster champions. So, folks, that's it. All of those details are published on the RSPBA Northern Ireland website. You can go and delve through them all at your leisure. They're all published up there now. Go and check them out. All right. Okay, let's head over to Maxville, of course, for this past weekend's Glengarry Highland Games and the North American Pipe Band Championships. Now, today, the point of me recording this podcast, today we published all of our coverage from the Glengarry Highland Games, and I have spent a good bit of time poring over these performances. Now, there was some bands in here that really did impress me, that honestly, at this point in the season, were surprisingly good. Like, so good. So it's kind of going to flavor my predictions when it comes to the Worlds. Let's say that. Yeah. But, you know, if a lot of these bands were able to make the journey to the Worlds, you know, I believe the Worlds could be a very different picture, in my opinion, because the standard here at Maxville was through the roof. It was insane. So, well, let's go through our grades then, shall we? grade by grade, band by band, as we always do. Starting things off in grade 5 with the March Medley contest, and congratulations to North American champions, Kingston Police. Yes, go on the Kingston. Now, well, if anything, we've been contacted by a couple of your members, actually, who were so chuffed with the result. Yeah, wanted a shout out on the show. So, yeah, congratulations, Kingston. Well deserved. With a 1-2 in piping and then lifted in the drumming and ensemble. So, not a bad weekend's work there. Yeah, well done, Kingston Police. Excellent. In second place was Smiths Falls, Gordon from Canada. I can just about talk. Yeah, Smiths Falls. That's not easy to say on a podcast. In third place was College of Piping 5. And in fourth place was Foothills Caledonia Youth Band. There you are. And in fifth place was Peel Regional Police 5. There you go. So that was your grade 5 March medley. Congratulations. All right, moving on to grade 4 medley then. And winner on the day was the Durham Regional Police. Go on, Durham. Now, I've actually heard this performance, and it was something special. All right, it was something special. Go and check out Durham. Excellent, well done. In second place was the Hamilton Police Pipe Bands. Third was the Stuart Highland Band from the USA, of course, yes. And in fourth place was the Glengarry number 4. Yeah. In fifth place was the London Firefighters, of course, from Canada. There you are. I have to give a shout out as well to the 6th place finisher. I've got a good number of mates play for that band. The Catamount Pipe Band. I finished up in 6th there overall. 17 in the band in the grade on the day. So to finish anywhere in that top 6 spot, well done to everyone there I've just read out. Yeah, congratulations. And yeah, go and check out Durham. All right. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on. Let's get into grade 3. Now, I'm not going to give you the breakdown of medley MSR. Let's get into the results. And congratulations for North American champions in grade 3, the Commonwealth Pipe Band. Yes, well done, Commonwealth. Yes. In second place was the College of Piping. Yes. Third was the Glengarry Band. Fourth was the St Andrews College Association. Yeah. And in fifth was the Russian Do Irish Pipe Band. There you go. And that was your grade 3. Now, again, I have heard the performance from Commonwealth, and it is definitely worth a listen. Also going to give an honourable mention to the Glengarry Band. I really enjoyed their medley. Just going to give you a shout there, Glengarry. Really enjoyed that. Excellent stuff. All right, let's move on. Grade 2, and you probably heard this already, but winners on the day and North American champions for 2026, Ulster Scottish. Yes, a convincing win, I have to say, lifting both the medley and MSR with ones right across the board in both disciplines. Congratulations to the Ulster Scottish. Well deserved, yes. In second place was the Ottawa Highlanders. Third was Dartmouth and District. Fourth was Peel Regional Police. Fifth was the Guelph Pipe Band. And in sixth place was Midlothian Scottish. There you are. And that was your grade 2. Now, again, we did have a grade 1 competition, although it wasn't really a competition because we only had one band in there, similar to what we had at the Ulsters. Shout out to the 78th Fraser Highlanders, overall champions for the North American Championships. We'll give you a short yay there. 78th Fraser Highlanders, of course, are in preparations now for their pre-Worlds concert. No doubt we'll talk about that in our topic. But, yeah, keep an eye on the 78th. They're doing some good things there. Yeah. So there you go. That's your results, of course, from the Glengarry Highland Games, or the North American Pipe Band Championships, as they're known. But, yeah, such a blistering weekend. And if you do want to catch all of those performances, do check out our YouTube channel. Shout out to Bill, who managed to film all of that for us. Absolute legend for sending us those. Thank you, Bill. Very much appreciated. And yeah, shout out to our international folks in the Rab Show team. We really put the work in, and bringing those performances to our audience is really appreciated. Go and check it out. It's up there now on the Rab Show YouTube channel. And yeah, go and check out those bands I mentioned. Some really good performances. All right, I'm going to briefly mention this upcoming weekend, August 8th, sees us heading to Lurgan Park for the Craigavon and District Championships. Now, you might say to yourself, well, this is a minor competition. Should I really go to this? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. Go and have a look at the draw that has been published online on the RSPBA NI website, and then I'll let you draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to go through the draw here, okay? But I just want to let you know that it's going to be quite a special day. There's quite a number of bands competing at this. Obviously keen to have a run out ahead of the big one. So just wanted to mention it in this week's show. Not going to read the draw, but you can go and check it out yourself. It's available now. The Craigavon and District Pipe Band Championships taking place in Lurgan Park. go and have a watch at it. Now, there is some details talking about parking and all of that stuff. Yeah, go and check it out. It's on the website, all of that information. And I don't think yet I have seen any details mentioning the dreaded shuttle bus. So there's no shuttle bus, so that's a good thing, but there is a charge for your car. All right, so there you go. Will you be willing to pay that fee to be able to park? I believe you will. Anyway, so go and check it out. All those details, including the draw for the 75th Craigavon and District Pipe Band and Drum Major Championships, have been published now. Go and have a read at it. There you are. Okay, also this past weekend was the Bridge of Allen competition, which took place. And again, we had you in there from the Big Rab Show team covering things for us from Bridge of Allen. And all of those performances that he managed to capture are up there now on the Rab Show YouTube channel. So a lot of the action from Bridge of Allen is there too. It's been a busy weekend, folks. So let's go through the results then, kicking things off at the Wild West. Yes, who lifted things in Grade 4B? The Royal Air Force of Oman. Yeah, lifting the top spot there, and also the drumming as well. So well done, the Royal Air Force of Oman. Yeah, lifted it an ensemble preference, however, because in second place was Stirling and District Schools Junior. Yes, of course, from the Novice Juvenile B grade. So well done, Stirling and District. Excellent. In third place was Colburn IOR. Yes. Fourth place was Queensferry. Yeah, there you go. And in fifth place was Tynecastle. Yes, and a band that I was keen to see, actually, and did play a good tune, to be fair to them. In sixth place was the Grosvenor Maguire Memorial from Australia. Excellent stuff. So that was your Grade 4B in the Wild West. All right, moving on to Grade 4A then. And winners on the day in Grade 4A were George Watson's College. Yes, George Watson's playing in Grade 4A on the day had 2 firsts in piping, drumming, ensemble. A clean sweep there. Well done, George Watson's. Yeah. In second place was the Royal Air Force of Oman, who played up. Well done. In third place in ensemble preference was Denny and Dunnipace. Yes. In fourth was Preston Lodge High School. Excellent. And in fifth place in ensemble preference was Falkirk Schools. So a good number of our Novice A bands actually playing in Grade 4A on the day. So that's great to see them getting a run out there. Excellent stuff. But well done, George Watson's lifting that 4A title. Moving on to our juvenile grade then, and winner on the day, George Watson's. Yes, a clean sweep across the boards. Piping, drumming ensemble, they lifted the lot. Well done to George Watson's. In second place was the PL, Preston Lodge High School. Well done, folks. And in third then in juvenile was George Watson's College Novice A, who played up a grade. There you go. But that was all the bands we had in the juvenile section, so a small grade on the day. Yeah. Looking at Grade 3 then, we had a combined grade where 3A and 3B bands competed all together, and winners on the day were Livingston, Caledonia. Yes, and again, with ones right across the board. Piping, drumming ensemble, lifted the lot. Well done, Livingston. In second place was the Royal Army of Oman. Yes, they played up there. In third place was Camlon and District. Brilliant stuff. In fourth place, the Grosvenor Maguire Memorial Band from Australia. Excellent. And in fifth place was Strathendrick, who also challenged up there in Grade 3. Brilliant stuff. Well done. So well done, Livingston. Excellent. Moving on, the Grade 2 competition on the day, it wasn't quite an open grade, but quite a number of bands did decide to challenge up here. So let's get into the prizes then, shall we? Winners on the day, Grampian Police. Yes, well done, Grampian Police. Played a good tune, actually, yeah. In second place then on the day was George Watson's College Juvenile Bands. Now, they also lifted the drumming as well, so well done, George Watson's. In third place in ensemble preference was Livingston, Caledonia. Yeah. In fourth place was Colburn IOR. Now, Colburn IOR's piping at this was insanely good. Now, yeah, you go and have a listen to Colburn. And, they lifted 2 firsts in piping, actually, in Grade 2 at Bridge of Allen. Worth listening to, yeah. In fifth place was Preston Lodge High School Juvenile. Yeah, and in sixth place was the Royal Army of Oman. There you are. Excellent. So, moving on then to Grade 1, which was kind of an open grade where both of our Grade 2 big guns decided to play again and duke it out in the top flight grade. And winners on the day, Colburn IOR. As I mentioned, their pipe corps were absolutely singing in Grade 2, but here they are in the Grade 1, and Yeah, 2 firsts in piping, first in ensemble. That was enough to put them in that top spot ahead of our second place finisher, which was Grampian Police, who lifted the drumming, by the way, on the day. So well done, Grampian. There you go. So that was all of the action at Bridge of Allen. So I did tell you, folks, there's a lot of news to get through. But yeah, all of that action from Bridge of Allen, the Ulster Championships, Maxville, all of it is on our Rab Show YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, I know it's a shameless plug, folks, but go and check it out. Yeah, Big Rab Show YouTube channel for all of that piping action from this past weekend. The team have been putting the work in, I'll say that. Shout out to Ewan and to Bill and to Adrian and, well, myself, I guess. So yeah, it was a busy weekend. There you go. All right, let's get into some more news stories. Right, we did talk about this, that the Chief Executive Officer post will be available for applications in the coming days. We mentioned this last week whenever Colin Mulhern had announced that he's going to be stepping down at the end of March, and that will be the last of his tenure. So, the post is now available for applications. Now, I'm sure like everyone here in the piping scene, we have all clicked on the link. We probably, each one of us have all clicked on it because we're all curious as to what the specifications are, the job description, all of that stuff. Just what does the Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Pipe Band Association, what do they do? What's required of them? This makes for such fascinating reading. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to get into all of it because honestly, I'm not going to read a hashtag list. You can go and look at it yourself. rspba.org, the CEO role, and all of your requirements, including what the job entails, along with possibly one of the most interesting bits was the personal specifications. Yeah, we'll talk about a few of those points now. Now, there is a salary available for this job within the range of $48,000 a year to $52,000 a year, depending on your experience. And there's also a company pension as well. There's pensionable. So for all of these details as to what exactly is required of a CEO of the RSPBA, go and have a read. Go and read at it. And you might get a bit of an understanding as to just how much pressure is involved in being a CEO of the Pipe Band Association. All right. Now, some of the personal specifications here, I'm about to get into this. They have special aptitudes listed. They have special circumstances listed as well. And they have other requirements. Now, all of these boxes you must tick to be eligible to apply for this job. Now, I'm going to read the special aptitudes first of all. Applicants should be able to travel and have access to a flexible means of transport. In other words, you have to be able to drive a motor or at least go to competitions. There you go. Yeah. As expected, you would hope that your CEO would turn up to majors, wouldn't you? Yeah, so that has to be actually written down in black and white that they are expected to attend. There you are. So moving on, the special circumstances also require the CEO to be available to work outside of normal office hours when required. Yeah, we kind of knew that as well. A lot of the meetings that go on behind the scenes are done out of business hours. So yeah, that's quite common. There you go. But again, listed in black and white. Now, these other requirements are one that I think sometimes often get overlooked, but definitely an important attribute to a potential CEO of the RSPBA. First one would be a willingness to represent the RSPBA at formal and ceremonial occasions, including wearing appropriate attire when required. Now, the very fact that that is written in black and white tells you that potentially there has been previous CEOs who were not happy doing so. And, wearing the chains and, Highland dress might not come as a natural thing for anyone coming from the business world, for example, who are used to wearing suits all the time. Well, hi, if you want to step into this role, you have to wear a kilt, you boy, yeah. And here's a chain you have to wear too. You're a bigwig now, boy. Enjoy it. Right, but also, and I think this is one of the biggest requirements, public speaking ability. Yes. it is a written requirement that the CEO of the RSPBA must have a public speaking attribute to themselves. So interesting. Now, these are only some of the things that have drawn out from this. The full specification and job description is up there. You can read at it at your leisure. And who knows, there might be someone of you listening right now that actually tick all these boxes, And you might think to yourself, hey, do you know what? I could do this. Genuinely, there could be someone out there listening right now isn't aware that this job is up for grabs. And then they listen to our pod and go, I'll go and have a look at that. Well, please do. Go to the RSPBA site right now. Follow the links. All of it's been published there. Your job specification, your personal requirements, all of that stuff. And the deadline for applications is the 11th of September. So, yeah, folks, I cannot wait to see who will actually step into this role. To be fair, I think Colin has done a fantastic job. He has certainly brought a lot of innovation to the RSPBA over the years, and notably the openness and communication, which was something that was severely lacking in previous tenures. The communication element is something that the RSPBA have been working on actively, and it's just been fantastic to see such an open door now. Yeah, I believe Colin has left a big legacy behind him, absolutely. And it's kind of sad to think that this year's World Championship will be the last one that Colin will announce our winners. It's going to be very different going forward, hearing yet another voice reading out the all-important results for the Worlds. It's a big deal. So, Colin, we're sad to see you go. It's been fantastic. Good luck to anyone who is going to be stepping into that role. They've got big brogues to fill. We wish them well. Yeah. So we will continue to follow this story, and hopefully we will be announcing pretty soon, hopefully before the winter months creep in, who will be our new CEO and what their hopes are and what they hope to bring to that role. Yeah. An interesting one. But there you go. Applications close the 11th of September at 12 midday here in the UK. So no applications will be accepted after that date or time. So go and check it out and apply for the job. And if you did hear about the job here in the podcast, let us know. I bet you there is those of you out there listening going, I could do that. I could do that. Absolutely. Go for it. There you go. As for me, I'm too busy podcasting and piping to do anything else. Anyway, all right, I'm just going to briefly mention that the draw for the British Adult Solo Drumming and Tenor Drumming competition is available now. It has been published online. In fact, there's 24 entrants for the Adult Solo Drumming. Yikes, 24. That's a lot. So, yeah, it actually starts at 11:15 in the morning and finishes at like 2 p.m., That's a long day. So, yeah, for all of those details, the draw has been published. Go and check it out, rspba.org, for the British Adult Solo Drumming and Tenor Drumming Championships, which are taking place. All that draw information's up there now. There you are. Also, I have to give a mention that the draw for the Masters has also been published as well. Again, 21 competitors here. I'm not going to read the full list, but you can go to bagpipe.news. They have published all of that information there. 21 people competing for the upcoming Masters competition at Piping Life. There you are. Right. I also, talking about draws for competition, the Livy Invitational Solo Drumming Competition. The draw for that has been published as well. And as a direct result, it is sold out. It seemed to be as soon as the draw got published, the tickets just disappeared. So yeah, the Livy Invitationals, the full listings of everyone competing is announced now. We have shared that out there, of course. I'm not going to read it again, trying to save some time. But yeah, tickets for the event are sold out. If you are trying to attend, sorry, you can't. There's no tickets left. So there you go. But yeah, Livy Invitational, very exciting. And drawn some big names from across the drumming world. I'll say that. I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, good stuff. All right, I have to bring it close to home again, just briefly. Well, of course, you've probably seen, especially in our national news here in Northern Ireland in particular, that the FLA has come to Belfast, which is a giant music festival that travels all across the island. And, well, this is the first time it's ever been held in Belfast. And there's been so much great piping and drumming action all across Belfast City this past week. It's been brilliant. And the reason it's brilliant is because normally with the Fly, you get a lot of traditional instruments like fiddles and whistles and flutes and borons and banjos and bazookies and squeeze boxes and all those other instruments that you're well used to seeing in sessions across pubs around the country. Well, now we're starting to see a lot of piping and drumming action being reflected in the Fly as well, which I believe is a first. Now, that could be stuff that Rab got wrong, but there's been so much great piping and drumming action at the Belfast Fly, and it's just been fantastic to see. I have to give a shout out in particular to Campbell College Pipes and Drums under their pipe major Graham Harris, who seemed to have been all across the city playing everywhere. Also have to give a shout out to Harry Spencer, of course, who's been playing gigs all across the city with Highland Dancing following him. It's just been brilliant to see so much great piping and drumming at the Belfast Fly. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know where you've been. It's been all across the national press and just fantastic to see our pipers and drummers being included in an Irish traditional festival, to have all sorts of great Scottish music in there. It was just amazing to see. So yeah, shout out to all of you who've been a part of the Fly to date, and I have no doubt that all of this great piping and drumming action will continue. So shout out to everyone there at the Fly Cule. Just brilliant event. Fantastic to see it. And I'm here for it. It's brilliant. All right. Okay. I think we've done enough now. News and updates. I know there's other stuff that we could get into, of course. There's a wealth of stuff, but we're going to do our best now to draw a line under it, and we're going to move on because we have a quite huge topic of the week to tackle. So I think it's time for me to go and get myself a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Marchify, the brand new home of Flam 5 drumming. Check out their brand new Strike bagpipe case, inspired by their colourful, popular and reliable Flam 5 drum cases. The Strike bagpipe case combines durability, style and practicality, protecting every movement. Shop now at marchify.co.uk with worldwide shipping available. Marchify, every movement protected. Okay, time for topic of the week, and we're about to get into what is honestly an impossible task. Trying to give you a full preview podcast of one of the biggest piping festivals of the year is nigh on impossible. We have been trying to keep across all of the updates and announcements from Piping Live over this last number of weeks, and it has been insane. There is so much to cover. It seems to be with every year. The Piping Live Festival just continues to get bigger and better. And 2026 is about to show us that standards have absolutely risen. And it has got bigger, better, and all the more awesome. I cannot wait for this year's festival. So before we get into all of our particular picks day by day and what you should be going to catch, well, I figured we should have a conversation with someone all about the festival. So, no better man to talk to about Piping Live but the artistic director. Finlay, how are you, mate? Are you well?
Rab, I'm well, thanks. Good to see you, as always.
You too, but you're a busy man this last while, and the run-up to this festival's crazy.
It's been a wee bit busy, yes, aye. But it's always a good busy, though, I say that. It's like, it's the best kind of busy when we're getting to programme some great music and pull together gigs and musicians from all over the world. It's a very good kind of busy. No complaints.
So can I ask then, as artistic director, like one of the things that I've been noticing is the amount of new people coming to the festival each year, and this year's definitely a part of that as well. You know, with the emerging talent stage, but all the other gigs. Is there ever a limit to how many gigs you can throw at Piping Live?
There's definitely a limit in terms of what we can afford to do and how we can do it. But I guess one of the kind of strategic changes we made in the last year was about kind of opening up the whole site around the Piping Centre as a more kind of open festival site. Now, last year we were blessed with absolutely sky splitting sun the whole week, and I'm sure we're going to have the same again. But we've got cover in place for all that heat if we need to. But I think having that fuel, we've got 2 stages running simultaneously. So we can programme some different things at the same time, and people can go between quite easily. And I think just having the centre stage for the kind of the main acts, and then the bothy for something a bit more personal, a bit more acoustic, a bit more kind of intimate. And that's some discussions. It's book launches. It's smaller musical performances, and a nice kind of more compact atmosphere. And of course, we've then got all the kind of tried and tested events that we're continuing to run, which have been part of Piping Live as a staple since the get go. Really, the Masters, the Alistair Gillis, the quartets, all of these really Pipe Idol, emerging talent, international acts. So we always try and keep the kind of core and the essence of the festival the same, or keep true to that core. But we'll try pushing and pulling things in different ways and different things all the time, and I guess we've got to do that to keep the festival fresh and keep things moving along.
Yeah, well, last year seen that big introduction of the new festival site, and well, obviously we thought it worked really well. There's a lot of great feedback to us here in Rab Show, but I've been told that this year there'll be a little bit of a shake-up with the festival site. Any changes can we expect?
Just, I would say tweaks, really, more than huge changes. So we've kind of moved where the stage is going to sit, so it's more at the end of the kind of street in front, but still kind of diagonally facing out towards the stairs. The bar will be at the top of the stairs, which gives a better kind of viewing platform. And again, we're all up for the feedback that we got, and we can see ourselves that last year the stage, people felt a bit awkward about walking by the stage to go to the bar, so we've moved that. We've made the stage at the end point of the site so that people don't feel as if they don't want to walk by the stage and things like that. And I think it will also allow us to increase capacity. So a couple of wee tweaks like that, but really the essence and the feeling of it being a festival site should be even more this year. So looking forward to that. Yeah, I
love that. Do you know what? I was actually one of those guys. I was walking with like 3 pints going past the front of the stage, and everyone was cheering. I thought, shut up. Right,
just the 3 pints,
just the 3. But no, I'm dead excited for it. Now, as you say, there's the usual heavy hitters. There's the ones that we're well used to seeing at this point, and they're back again for another year. So, Pipe Idol, one of my particular highlights. Some of the talent that this event has drawn in over the years. This year seems to be really international, Finlay, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think that's probably like what we've seen across the board. That there's lots of bands coming in, lots of players coming in.
Yeah,
and I think again that's just a great thing. It brings a great atmosphere to the festival, and I always say that the official events are great, and I like all that. But one of my favourite things is to kind of most days try and step back a bit and have a look, and you see people meeting each other maybe for the first time, or old pals meeting each other over a beer or a coffee, and that real kind of social element to it is like so important, I think. And I think the more international musicians and artists and fans and spectators we get in, the better, and just really like lean into that whole kind of camaraderie thing, really, and just making it a really kind of positive social event.
Yeah, for sure. It is so important because, Finlay, so many times we've spoke about stories here on the show where bands and events hatch. They take life at Piping Live. Oh, I met such and such at Piping Live.
Yeah.
Next thing they're gigging,
Yeah, absolutely, yep.
So it is. It's so important. So obviously, we're going to talk about our highlights for each particular day, but there's a few events that I do want to talk to you about. One of the big sort of things for me, personally, I'm a drummer of 30 years, the Drum Corps series. This introduction this year is fantastic, Finlay.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I think it's such a vibrant scene. Within the pipe band scene, obviously there's the drum corps and the pipe corps, and we were just thinking it'd be great to give that stage and that opportunity over to the drum corps, because I personally love hearing, like, when you hear one of the top drum corps playing, on their own or just with one pipe or something like that, you get to hear that real intricacy and that amazing accuracy and dynamic that can be brought to that. So we thought, well, let's put that on the centre stage. Let's give the drum corps a stage there to perform on, and it's a great thing for us to be able to include that. And we've got four of the top bands playing throughout the week, and I'm hoping that becomes definitely a kind of one of the staple parts of the festival. And just great to hear these amazing drum corps playing on their own. So really looking forward to that, and I'm glad we could bring the drum corps in a bit.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. It's such a great development. It's always been a bit of a joke of ours. Like, whenever we've done Rab Show Live, we brought drummers on stage and we're kind of drumming at a piping festival. But this is such a great development, and hopefully will be a platform. Yeah,
absolutely. But really looking forward to that. It's I think it's going to be a great addition.
Oh, it's exciting for sure. But I have to say, another one for pipe banders though, the Learn It Live this year seems to be really catered for pipe banders. There's a lot of great information here, Finlay, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And again, it's how do you keep doing a programme like Learn It Live and trying to keep it fresh? We're always thinking about how we can look at things, and I think this year we've got a really nice mix of the pipe band kind of background. Ross Walker, obviously hugely experienced pipe major and now judge. What are the judges actually listening for? And actually hearing from a world-renowned expert, and what are they listening for? Because we don't always know. We think we know as musicians, but I guess judging, you've got a different perspective on things, and you're listening for different things, and you're maybe listening to the whole picture rather than smaller details, or maybe it is smaller details. But I think just having somebody of that calibre to come in and talk and do like a Q&A and talk through that kind of side of it's really interesting. And then I guess on the either side of that, we've got Gary West talking about the much broader kind of cultural and the broader traditional music scene, and where we are now with that, and the fact that it's this evolving kind of stream that used to be about when I think back to when I started at the academy 30 years ago, there was this sense more of like people wanted to preserve stuff and not have it change, and now how that's all evolved and how it's changing, of what tradition means to us as musicians and just as kind of members of society. So I think that's a much broader kind of big thinking discussion. And then the other one with Willie McCallum, Murray Henderson and Callum Bowman about the fine margins of solo, kind of elite solo playing. What does it take to get to that level? The absolute top of the top end of solo competing. And I think that's really interesting, because we always talk, when we teach at whatever level, we talk about these guys. We say, if these guys are doing it, we should all be doing it. If the top solo players are doing this kind of practice, if they're how do they approach their playing and their practice and their music, then everyone can learn from that. I think we can all learn from these guys. So, and then we've got something a bit different on the Friday. We've got Callum Stewart and Sophie Stevenson doing uilleann pipes and step dancing. So, just maintaining that theme of a broad spectrum of kind of educational offerings throughout the week.
There you go. So, you can definitely step away from the festival with a lot more knowledge whenever you first stepped in. Exactly.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, so I have to ask then, obviously, some of the big heavy hitters, there's some huge gigs all across this, Finlay, and a lot of the emerging talent stuff that's coming through, these bands are amazing, man. I don't know where you find them.
Well, great band. Well, again, a few years ago, we started just putting a call out and inviting kind of emerging artists to kind of send in material or let us know if they were keen to play. And it's amazing. Some of the acts we've got coming from Ireland and all over Scotland, and I mean, great players. And again, we're just kind of really happy that we can provide that platform for young bands. And I think back, we've spoken about it before, you know, bands like Rura, Ali Lavac, all these guys started off. Some of their first ever gigs were here at Piper Live, and we're really proud of that. You know, it's a great thing that we see as a responsibility of ours, not just something that we want to do, but we feel that we've got a responsibility to the future generations to give that platform and give them a paid performance to come and play their music and develop it. So again, it's always a brilliant part of the programme, along with Pipe Idol. We mentioned it earlier. The standard of playing at Pipe Idol is just phenomenal, and
crazy.
You know, we just hear it year on year. It's just, you know, an amazing competition. And you know what I love about that competition? I'm just off the phone with Fred Morrison actually. You know, the prize that he really kind of generously has given for that. It's one of these kind of, it opens doors. You know, getting a set of real pipes that you can then go and play in sessions and recording sessions, play with other instruments. It really fits with that, the ethos of that competition, and that, of course, all the competitors are playing Highland pipes in the competition, but the prize is getting a set of real pipes, which allow you then just to start thinking a bit differently and playing in a different environment. So it's really super great part of the festival.
Oh, it is, for sure. Absolutely. One of my favourites. Absolutely.
Oh, aye.
So can I ask you then, well, there's a few more events, one of which that I've been really fascinated reading about, and that's this event that's happening in the Barrowlands. Can you tell us about this, Finlay? What's happening?
Right, so this is, there's an amazing Breton piper, a guy called Erwan Keravec, and I've been a huge fan of his for a long time. He played with some of the top bagads in his earlier years, but got into kind of minimalist and contemporary experimental music. So he's kind of, if you like, just completely rethought how we play pipes and how we think about what pipes can do as an instrument, and how that can be translated, and how we can translate other music through pipes and different kinds of pipes, not just Highland pipes, but you know, the Do pipes, the Breton C pipes, the different scale and the drones. So he's got a group of 20 musicians called Sonneurs, and they play a mixture of Binu, Bombard and Breton pipes. And the main performance they're doing at the Barrowlands is a piece called In C by Terry Riley, quite a famous kind of modern contemporary minimalist piece, and it lasts about 50 minutes, and it's all about completely different soundscapes and creating a kind of sound bath, if you like. It's like an installation of sound. So the 20 players stand in a circle, and they're on a platform with a light, so they only hit the light when they're actually playing. And the unique thing about this is that the audience are not sat down in seats watching the gig. The audience are encouraged to move through the performance, and however you feel, or which part of the performance you want to get closer to or further away from, you can do that throughout the whole piece. So you can be walking very close to one player, or take a step back, or you can listen to it in a whole different way, and it's about how the sound affects how you feel and where you're in your own head with that. And
so interesting.
You can lie down on the floor if you want, you can stand up, you can sit at the bar. So it's a kind of immersive experience, which I think will be amazing. So it really is one of these things that I've been hoping to bring this performance here for a long time, and we were lucky enough to get some funding through the Creative Scotland Expanded Festivals Fund this year in particular, to make this happen. And then we've kind of built around that. Erwan's here a bit earlier to do some rehearsals, so he's taking part in the Kilnua night on Monday. Nice and Sleazy's, he's doing a gig there, and then on Wednesday he's got a smaller group of 8 pipers who play Philip Glass music, which again, Philip Glass is one of the most kind of important contemporary composers out there, and 6 of us Scottish pipers are joining them for one of those pieces. And it's amazing music. It's a real kind of, you know, questioning your own music and your own abilities and your own art form, and it's it's amazing music. So it's kind of, we've built a bit of a series around that, and then that finishes up on the Thursday in Kelvin Grove, where we've got 20 pipers playing a new piece that Erwan's written just for drones.
Wow.
So there's a whole different soundscape just with the drones, so when you take melody out of it completely, it makes you think totally differently about how you think about pipes. So
wow.
It's really exciting stuff.
That's so progressive and like really taking piping in a new direction as well.
Yeah, and I think it's like I would love all pipe band players, any musicians, to go to this, especially on the Tuesday night, because you might or might not like it, but it will certainly make you think differently about what pipes are and what they can do, and how we can use them in different ways. So
there you go. It's not always about the MSRs.
It's not. No, NSRs are great, and we all love them. But it's just, I think it's important for us to, we're a major festival now, so it's important for us to push boundaries, whilst, as I said earlier, respecting the core and the traditions of what we do.
Absolutely. Well, Finlay, there's another couple of things I just wanted to mention. The Piping Live Big Band this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about the charity that they're raising funds for this year? Tell us about that.
So this year is My Name is Doddy, which is in support of trying to find or supporting research into finding cures or treatments for motor neuron disease. And obviously Doddy Weir was the famous Scottish rugby player who sadly passed away a few years ago. So it's a really important charity. I think it's such a great charity to support, and they've got the links with the tartan, and there's a very kind of Scottish theme to that, and it's amazing. The big band genuinely is one of the best things about the festival for me, because it's all about taking part, it's all about people enjoying it for the same reasons, raising a few quid for charity, and kind of making a statement to the city that we're here, this is the start of the festival. And it's a really special thing that we've got 200 players coming from all over the world to join us.
That's it. Like, we've had so many people reach out to us from Rab Show, and they've been travelling from all over the globe just to play pipes in this band because they know how much fun it is.
And it's great. And the start, the great thing about it is you could be a kind of a beginner who's just getting onto the pipes, and you could be standing beside someone who plays in grade 1.
There you go.
That's fine. Everyone's in it for the same reasons.
Oh, that's fantastic, yeah. So, well, one particular highlight of mine, obviously, we're going to talk about Rab Show Live, but Ceilidh Tots is back again. Finlay, what a brilliant idea Ceilidh Tots is.
It's great, yeah. And again, it's us just trying to open up that whole, make sure piping's not just for people who think it's for them, it's like, I know it's fine having 2 kids who are now a bit older, but you're trying to find things to do in the summer holidays, you're trying to encourage kids to take up arts and creativity, and it's free for under 16s to attend here at the whole site. So get them in early, get them playing music, get them enjoying it, let the parents have a coffee in the corner or something stronger if they want while the kids are doing music and crafts, and it's a great way for us to engage with young people, and in a very informal way. It's a bit of Ceilidh dancing, it's a bit of music, a bit of singing, a bit of crafts and art. So it's lovely to see the kids, and we get them in nice and early, and it's a great addition.
Oh, it is, for sure. And as you say, I noticed quite a number of mums and dads all drinking coffees, and then the kids all come running out, bright red faces, and they're like, oh, it's so much fun in there. So that's
great.
It's great.
It's great having kids around and enjoying the music, and I think a lot of that kind of, when kids are that age and they're exposed to music at an early age, I think it does make a difference, So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The one that I seen in particular, there was a chap there on fiddle and everything, and they were handing out like tambourines and like triangles and stuff to the kids, and they were all rock stars joining in. It was the best crack. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out Ceilidh Tots, go and have a watch at it. Yeah,
definitely.
Send your wins. That's it. So, I have to talk about Rab Show Live. Finlay, thank you so much for having us back again.
Well, it's our pleasure. Thank you for coming along. We've done it now, how many years?
I don't know. A long time.
Yeah. And people love it. It's great. I think when people listen on podcasts or whatever they listen, the live thing's great. I think it's
it is. Yeah, and this time round is going to be a huge party atmosphere because 500 episodes, it's like a big birthday party for us, really.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
great. And I know you've got lots of good stuff. I don't know if you want to tell anyone what's happening yet, or...
Oh, we've announced the lineup and everything, but we do have a few surprises in the works. Yeah, but it is going to be a great event for sure.
Oh, that sounds great, yeah.
Yeah. So can we get into the logistics then? For people who are wanting tickets and actually wanting to attend the festival site, where do they need to go to get all that info?
Yeah, so it's all on the website, so pipinglive.co.uk. Everything's there, and it's kind of simple. The £10 ticket gets you access to the site for the whole day. So that's the centre stage and the bothy and what else happening around here in the kind of outside area. There are a few additional things that require a separate ticket. Some of the Learn It Live things, the evening concerts that require separate tickets. So that's the basic theme of it. That's, you know, your entry gets you into the site for the whole day, and you know, I think £10 for 8 hours, 10 hours of music and entertainment's pretty good going. So
absolutely.
But all the information's on the website, pipinglive.co.uk, and it's all there. And you know, I would also just encourage people to get tickets in advance. You know, you see in the news a lot of festivals struggle with that, and I think just that wee bit of advance warning gives festival organisers a wee bit of breathing space. And we know that people come along on the day and pay, and that's still fine as well. But you know, the advance booking thing really does stop the nerves going a bit, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. We've been encouraging folk, if you do want to go to any event, do try and get them in advance to secure your spot. Yeah. But there's also a live stream element as well for folk living internationally that can't attend, isn't that right?
Yes, that's right, yep. So we live stream the Masters, which this year is on the Sunday. So that's just a point of note for anyone that was expecting it on the Monday, as it has been for the last few years. We've moved the Masters to the Sunday, just for a few reasons. You know, I'm a big believer in speaking to the people who are playing and performing, and you know, take their feedback. And I think having a slightly quieter area surrounding the centre at the time allows the players just to get a bit more focused, and there's less going on and there's less distraction.
Less crazy.
And you know, sometimes there's been a bit of kind of noise transference from outside to inside. So you know, based on feedback from the players and the audiences, we said, well, let's put that back on the Sunday, and that gives that chance just to give that event the full kind of kudos that it deserves. And it's an amazing competition. If you look at the entries to that competition, it's fantastic, and that's sponsored by RG Hardy's, who sponsored the live stream of that as well, so it can be shared around the world. And we also live streamed the final of Pipe Idol, which is great.
That's right. That's definitely worth catching. Yeah. So, Finlay, again, I think we'll wrap things up here at this point. Looking at the entire event itself, is there any one particular highlight that you're really looking forward to yourself personally?
We spoke about the Breton in C thing with Erwan Kerovic. That's certainly something I've been super excited about for years. And then other than that, you know, it's hard to pick one thing, but the Friday night gig that we do up at the art school this year, I think, is going to be particularly rocking. We've got the brilliant Nexus project with bead, Patterson and pipes. We've got Mal, who are launching their brand new album, and if you've not checked out their music, you should. It's like amazing mix of folk, traditional, electronic, dance, and then we've got a couple of DJs as well. So going into the late hours, we've got Kane, who's a great DJ who still uses kind of pipes and different things, and Bally, a good Glasgow pair of DJs. So that's maybe for those that aren't competing early on the Saturday morning. I don't want to get the blame from any pipe majors that we've distracted their band members from Saturday morning, but it's going to be a great night up at the art school. Like real kind of cutting edge stuff that's, you know, it's a great night if you fancy a dance and a bit of a club night.
High energy stuff. So it is. Well, Finlay, thank you so much for chatting to us on the pod this week. Really appreciate it. And
Rob, as always, thank you for having us, and
you
know, thanks for all your support, and we'll look forward to seeing you in less than 2 weeks.
There you go. Yeah, episode 500 is just around the corner, mate.
I know, brilliant, and thank you again.
Cheers, Finlay. Thanks very much.
Okay, cheers, Rob.
There you are. A huge shout out to Finlay. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. Yeah, this festival, folks, it's absolutely massive. And yeah, in previous years, we have went through things day by day, trying to point you in the direction of where we believe you should travel. And I honestly think that 2026, it's impossible. You simply can't do it. There is the festival stage, there is the bothy tent, there's the museum tours, there's the come and try piping, there's all of the showcase events that are happening. Of course, you know, the bands at Suggy Hall Street, there's too many of them as well. There's the lunchtime recital, there's the drum corps series, there's the gigs in the gallery. Come on, there's just way too much. There's book launches aplenty. To be even mentioned, the Royal Regiment of Scotland are launching their collection of pipe music at the National Piping Centre August 10th. Go and check that out. We also have the emerging talent stuff as well. Gigs at Nice and Sleazy, like we mentioned. All of the Learn It Live stuff. Come on, all the Learn It Live stuff is amazing. Right. So, folks, I can't summarize this. I can't go through it day by day because I have exactly the same problem as you folks have as well. Trying to capture every part of this Pipe and Live Festival is going to be nigh on impossible. So my advice to you at this point, go to pipeandlive.co.uk/events. All right. Now, they do manage to give you a breakdown of what's happening each and every day. Now, it's laid out in such a way that they do give it to you in certain location order. So say, for example, you want to hang out at the festival site each and every day. Well, brilliant. They'll give you all the details of what's happening on the centre stage, in the bothy tent, actually in the museum and all of that stuff, along with the auditorium, if there's any competitions happening, ceilidh tots, all that stuff. It's all listed there. But if you want to break down by day or by date, well, you can do that as well. You know, anyway, there's a way that you can kind of whittle it down and then make your own plans. There are so many highlights this year. It would be wrong of me if I was to kind of point you in the direction and say this event is better than that, because I think they're all equally brilliant. A lot of the events that I am going to potentially miss this year at Pipe and Live, I'm genuinely upset about. Yeah, because, you know, obviously a lot of events run at the same time, and it's one of the biggest problems with the festival. With so much happening, there is potentially going to be those events that you will miss. And yeah, so plan in advance wherever you can. As Finlay says, grab your tickets in advance wherever possible. pipeandlive.co.uk/events. Now, of course, you knew full well that we were going to talk briefly about Big Rab Show Live. Yeah, it is amazing to have been invited to the festival again. We're pinching ourselves, but to have such an opportunity to celebrate 500 episode with you guys, that's going to be such a special moment. I can't tell you just how spectacular this is going to be for all of us. So we hope to see you there on the Thursday at Pipe and Live, of course, at the festival site on the main stage, 2 p.m., Big Rab Show Live. We've already announced the lineup, but we'll go through it here briefly. We have Caleb, the bagpiper. If you haven't been following his stuff on socials, you really should. It's incredible. Also, we have a couple of pipe bands joining us. We have the Drumlock Pipe Band, our Ulster champions, of course. We also have North Stratton as well, making the trip, and they're going to be treating us to something special, I've been told. Yeah, we're also going to have some solo snare drumming from Hugh Smighton. Yes. And then we have quite a special, drum major display, and I'm not going to say any more than that. We also have some surprises along the way for those of you who will be in attendance for our celebration event. So I hope that you can join us. So grab your tickets for that. Yeah. I also want to talk about an event that sits outside of Pipe and Live. Okay? Now, away from all of your talks, your discussions, your gigs, your Learn It Lives, and all of that stuff that the festival has to offer, you would thought you would be busy enough as it is. But let's talk about the pre-Worlds concert. Thanks to Glasgow Sky Association, True North Strong is the title of the show. And the band on the stage, the 78th Fraser Highlanders. Yeah. Now, this show, the pre-Worlds concert, sells out every single year. And I am so surprised at this point if there's even tickets left. Now, I think the tickets that are left, however, simply just a handful of them. Like, you're talking maybe up in the gods, you know, up in the nosebleeds. So if you do want to grab a ticket for True North Strong, I do think there are a few little stragglers here and there, but they are like hen's teeth. Perhaps at the point of me publishing this episode, yeah, they might have gone already. But at the point of me recording this, but Wednesday afternoon, there's still a handful. You're talking maybe 6, 12, 14, perhaps at most. So good luck if you are wanting to head to True North Strong. So I have to give a shout out to Bob Worrell, actually, who posted a little teaser on his socials just today. He was talking about, he was actually attending some rehearsals for True North Strong. And he's saying that we're in for some good things. Now, that's all he said. Which is so annoying, but he has said that this is going to be a very special show, which is quintessential 78th Fraser Highlanders. Now, as to what that means, it could mean anything. We just don't know. But come on, we know some of the iconic performances that the 78th have brought to the concert hall in the past and other venues in that as well. Yeah, we have no doubt that this is going to be off the chain. So if you haven't got a ticket for True North Strong yet, go, do so now, secure your ticket, and we will see you there. Yeah, thank goodness. As soon as the concert was announced, I secured my ticket straight away. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, if you are going to be there in the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall, I'll hopefully see you there, which will be the night before Rab Show Live, which will be the following day. So I'm looking forward to that. I have to give a shout out to bagpipe.news as well, who have published a full article detailing Piping Live day by day and also highlighting some of the events that you should be attending in their opinion. Yeah, like the lunchtime recital with Bruce Gandy on the Monday. Yeah, for example, there's all those things. Come on, there's the Gordon Duncan Memorial. There's the International Quartets. The lineup for that has been announced thanks to G1 Reeds, who are sponsoring that event. Yeah, come on. There's way too much to mention here, folks. Piping Live is what it is. It's Piping Live. It's one of the biggest music festivals that the piping world knows. And I don't know. To be a part of it, we are genuinely so thankful. And we pinch ourselves every time that we even mention our name in the same breath as the Piping Live Festival. And I know that seems melodramatic, but it is honestly the truth. We have been talking about this event for years, and now that we have been a part of this event now for years, that's not lost on us. Yeah, we cannot wait to hit the stage of Piping Live. It's going to be an epic time, and we really hope that you can all join us there on the Thursday of Piping Live to help us celebrate 500 episodes, which is just next week. It's next week, episode 500, baby. Man, I'm looking forward to it. Right. Pretty much I'm looking forward to 500, similarly as I'm looking forward to Piping Live. There is so much music on offer here. I don't know, folks. So, yeah, that's our preview. We thought our interview there with Finlay gave a real good flavour of some of the events that you should absolutely be catching up with. But there's a lot more asides. Everything that's happening on the centre stage, in the Bothy tent in particular, some of those... one of them really draws my attention was the Maquette Collective and what they've been working on. A lot of their showcase events and their talks and panel discussions, like the Maquette Collective are really bringing it to Piping Live this year. I'm so excited for a lot of their events. So many book launches as well, and some really interesting discussions on Pembroke as well in the Bothy tent. So, yeah, anyway, and some of those like listen along kind of things that are happening with Gary West. Come on. And some of the discussion cases as well, you know, with Gary that we've mentioned and others. Right. There's too much. But, right, that's my advice. Go to pipinglive.co.uk, break it down day by day, and do your best. But we do hope to see you there at the biggest piping festival in the year. I genuinely can't wait, and I will hopefully see you all there. Now, if you do manage to spy me, or any of us in the Rab Show team for that matter, don't be shy. Come on over and say hello, grab a selfie, all that stuff. We'd absolutely love to see you. If anything, after our live show at Piping Live, whenever it wraps up, we do have an official meet and greet taking place after our event at the Tryst Bar. So if you do want to hang out with the Rab Show team and just blether away and talk away about the worlds and Piping Live and all things Rab Show, We'd love to meet you. So yeah, we're holding an official meet and greet after our live event at Piping Live on the Thursday. So do come and say hello. And yeah, we'd love to see you all there. Yeah. Grab a few Ribenas and a few selfies. Looking forward to that. So folks, I know that does seem like a bit of a cop-out, but genuinely that is our preview. We had a great conversation with Finlay, who'd really directed you through to some amazing events that I am definitely going to be checking out. That's for sure. But yeah, we hope to see you folks there. And yeah, our advice, plan in advance, grab your tickets early for a lot of those big ticket items. And yeah, to everyone that's going to be there in Glasgow, we will see you there for the biggest week in piping and drumming. That's it. So we'll be back again next week for even more bagpiping goodness, as next week we will be bringing you episode 500. Which is so difficult to believe. 500 episodes of the show. And as soon as I hit record next week, that's it. We're on the road. Episode 500 is next week, which will be our World Championship prediction podcast. And we'll get into the weeds with it. Looking forward to it. There you are, folks. That's it for another topic of the week. And yeah, if you are looking some bespoke planning advice for Piping Live and you just can't make up your minds, well, then you can do. Email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com. You can contact us. Or, of course, as I say, go to the Piping Live website. All of the details out there about each event is available, or you can even contact them. They have contact details. Ring the festival, give them an email, and they'll do their best to help you plan your trip as best they can for one of the busiest weeks in piping. Yeah. All right, folks, I'm out the door. I will see you all next week for episode 500. So until then, yeah, we'll see you all again. All the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show Podcast. All the best.